Imagine waking up every morning with a calm mind, untouched by the ups and downs of chance, unshaken by challenges, and fully focused on what truly matters. No external storm could shake your resolve. No outside voice could steer you away from the path you've chosen to walk. It might sound like a distant ideal, but this is the very essence of self-discipline and the key to living a meaningful and virtuous life. When Marcus Aurelius ruled over Rome, he faced trials that would have crushed many. The empire was in turmoil, wars, plagues, betrayals, and the relentless demands of power. But it wasn't the outside world that defined the emperor's fate. It was his response to it. In the writings we now know as Meditations, he wasn't addressing others. He was writing to himself, a constant reminder that the only thing truly his was his mind, his character, and his actions. Centuries have passed, and yet the very same challenges Marcus Aurelius faced still persist. Only now, they wear different faces. The chaos of Rome's streets has been replaced by the never-ending noise of modern life. The temptations of power and vanity remain, now amplified by glowing screens and a chorus of voices all vying for our attention. The fear of failure still haunts those who hesitate, and the search for purpose continues to plague those longing for meaning. But just like in the emperor's time, the solution isn't out there. It lies within each of us. Today, you'll discover 10 Stoic principles to master self-discipline and achieve success, not just as words to hear, but as tools to be forged in the fire of your own experience. If you're ready to rule yourself the way an emperor rules an empire, then let's begin. Because true power doesn't lie in wealth or fame, but in mastery of the soul. People live as if they were eternal, wasting the present on regrets about the past and anxieties about the future. They get swept away by fleeting passions, unstable desires, and the naive belief that the world should bend to their will. But reality tells a different story. Life is short, fate is uncertain, and the control we think we have is nothing more than an illusion. That's why those who seek to live wisely must ask themselves, how can we find stability in a world so full of unpredictability? How do we remain calm when everything around us seems to be falling apart? The answer lies in a philosophy that goes beyond ancient texts. It shapes the soul and strengthens character. Stoicism isn't just an intellectual exercise or a rigid code reserved for a select few. It's a path, a daily practice, a way of approaching life. The Stoics taught that the key to a balanced life is knowing the difference between what we can control and what lies beyond our reach. Fate follows its course. Society changes. People act on their own impulses, and the whims of fortune can lift us up one day and drag us down the next. But there is one thing no one can take from us: the way we choose to respond. During his reign, Marcus Aurelius endured wars, plagues, conspiracies, and heartbreaking losses. Had he allowed these events to dictate his inner state, he would have become a prisoner of external forces. But he understood something deeper. His true kingdom wasn't Rome. It was his own mind. Stoicism is not, as some believe, an invitation to coldness or indifference. It's not about suppressing emotions or ignoring life's hardships. On the contrary, it teaches us to feel without being ruled by our feelings, to engage with the world without becoming its hostage. A Stoic does not run from pain. They learn to endure it with dignity. They don't avoid challenges. They see them as opportunities for growth. Every setback, every failure, every insult becomes a lesson for the soul. In modern life, the nature of our challenges has changed, but the principles of Stoicism remain the same. In the past, people worried about scarcity or the dangers of war. Today, they drown in endless distractions and unrealistic expectations. The constant craving for recognition becomes an invisible prison. The insatiable desire for comfort weakens the spirit. The fear of judgment steals our freedom. Just like in ancient Rome, the real battle doesn't happen out in the world. It takes place in the mind of each individual. Stoicism doesn't promise an easy life, but it offers a shield against unnecessary suffering. It teaches that true power doesn't lie in wealth or status. It lies in self-discipline. That peace doesn't come from running away from problems, but from the ability to face them without despair. And that success isn't measured by applause from others, but by the alignment between our principles and our actions. If someone wishes to be free, they must learn not to depend on what lies outside their control. If they want to be strong, they must give up the habit of complaining and take full responsibility for their thoughts and actions. If they seek greatness, they won't find it in possessions or fleeting achievements, but in the ability to govern themselves. The Stoics never claimed that life would be fair, but they taught that justice must live within us. They never said suffering could be avoided, but they showed that it can be endured with courage. They didn't promise we would achieve everything we desire, but they gave us the tools to desire only what truly matters. Time moves on, and society continues to evolve, but the principles that uphold a meaningful life remain unchanged. The external world will follow its course, but those who cultivate wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice will never be swept away by the current. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it is a call, a challenge, an invitation for each of us, today and always, to choose the freedom of a disciplined mind and the strength of an unshakable character. A man's greatness is not measured by the wealth he accumulates, but by the strength with which he governs himself. True power doesn't lie in external circumstances. It lies in the ability to remain unshaken in the face of life's challenges. It was with this conviction that Marcus Aurelius, both emperor and philosopher, wrote his reflections on self-discipline, resilience, and virtue. Today, his teachings don't belong solely to ancient Rome. They belong to anyone who seeks mastery over the self. This video dives deep into the Stoic principles that shaped one of history's most respected leaders. Each lesson drawn from meditations will be presented not as a distant idea, but as a practical tool for anyone pursuing discipline and purpose. Stoic philosophy isn't a collection of words to be admired. It's a guide to be lived. Throughout this video, we'll explore 10 core principles that can transform the way we handle challenges, frustrations, and desires. From cultivating purpose to resisting the lure of excessive comfort, each teaching will be unpacked and applied to the realities of modern life. Those who watch until the end will walk away with a deeper understanding of what it truly means to have self-discipline, and more importantly, how to put it into action. If you're seeking growth, don't pause this journey. Just as Marcus Aurelius urged himself to act with integrity and strength, this video challenges each of us to absorb these lessons and apply them in our daily lives. And for those who are committed to the path of self-mastery and Stoic wisdom, subscribing to this channel is an essential step. Reflection and growth are ongoing, and together, we can strengthen both mind and spirit with every new insight. Self-discipline is not a gift reserved for a select few. It's a skill that anyone can develop and strengthen. It is the key to a life guided by reason rather than by fleeting emotions. The ancient Stoics understood this profoundly. Among them, Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, left behind reflections that still serve as a guide for anyone who seeks to govern themselves. From this point forward, we'll explore the 10 core principles of Stoicism for developing self-discipline. Each of these principles is not just some distant theory. It's a powerful tool that, when applied, can transform how we face life's challenges. Without direction, even the most skilled navigator gets lost at sea. Finding purpose isn't about waiting for a divine revelation. It's about identifying what gives your life meaning. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Don't waste what remains of your life in speculating about others, unless it's tied to a collective purpose." Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Stoicism teaches that to live in harmony with nature is to discover and follow what we are best suited for. In today's world, where we are constantly distracted by outside stimuli and other people's expectations, finding purpose requires intentional reflection. To apply this principle, start by asking yourself, what truly matters to me? Set aside moments in your day to reflect on your values. Remove tasks and obligations that don't align with them. Discipline is not just about working hard. It's about knowing where to direct that effort. Stoicism teaches that a man's greatest enemy is not the outside world, it's his own doubt. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever flow if you will ever dig." Uncertainty can be paralyzing, but by trusting in one's own reason and judgment, the Stoic develops an unshakable sense of confidence. This doesn't mean ignoring wise counsel. It means learning to filter what is useful and discard what's rooted in other people's fear or insecurity. The practice of self-trust begins with small daily decisions. Instead of constantly seeking external validation, ask yourself, if I were alone in the world, what choice would I make? Trust the answer that arises. With time, your mental independence will grow stronger. Self-discipline isn't built in a single day. It's forged through the consistent repetition of virtuous actions. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Persistence is a great element of success. It's not just about starting, but about staying on the right course." The Stoic understands that progress is rarely immediate. What separates the strong from the weak is the ability to keep moving forward, even when results aren't yet visible. To practice persistence, set realistic goals and break them down into small daily actions. Don't rely on motivation, rely on habit. Each day you maintain your discipline, you strengthen your ability to resist inertia. Excessive comfort weakens the mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Stoic resilience teaches that by deliberately exposing ourselves to discomfort, we strengthen our ability to endure real hardship. In practice, this means embracing small daily challenges. Take cold showers. Practice silence instead of reacting impulsively. Spend a day without unnecessary luxuries. Self-imposed discomfort prepares us for life's inevitable trials. Many people suffer because they try to control what was never within their power. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke." Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what we can change and what we cannot. Focusing on the former gives us strength, Clinging to the latter leads only to frustration. The practice is simple. When faced with a problem, ask yourself, is there anything I can do about this? If the answer is yes, take action. If not, let it go. Serenity is born from that choice. Nothing enslaves us more than the habit of blaming others for our hardships. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Complaining is pointless. The question is, what will you do now?" The Stoic takes full responsibility for their life. Even when treated unfairly, they refuse to become a prisoner of resentment. To practice this principle, start by observing your thoughts. Whenever you catch yourself blaming something external, ask, what part of this is within my control? Direct your energy toward what you can change, and ignore the rest. The weak give in to fleeting temptations. The strong choose what brings lasting value. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you become attached to something temporary, you'll soon become its slave." Discipline comes from the ability to delay immediate pleasures in exchange for greater, long-term rewards. To apply this principle, practice small acts of self-control each day. Before buying something, wait a day. Before giving in to an impulse, pause and reflect. Over time, your willpower will become unshakable. The Stoic does not seek external approval. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Other people's opinions should not disturb your peace. Live according to your own reason." Criticism has always existed. Some of it is useful, most of it is not. Mental discipline requires us to filter only what contributes to our growth. Before reacting to a critique, ask yourself, does this person have real knowledge about the subject? Do they genuinely wish me well? If the answer is no, let it go. We learn by observing. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about those he admired and made a conscious effort to embody their virtues. Choose role models, read about them, observe their habits, bring those lessons into your daily life. Surrounding yourself with good examples strengthens your discipline. Progress requires self-evaluation. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. Ask yourself, did I act justly today? Was I disciplined? Did I use wisdom? Before going to sleep, take a moment to reflect on your actions. Where did you fall short? What can you improve? This practice of self-review gradually builds a more disciplined mind. Stoic self-discipline is not some abstract idea. It's a way of life. Each day we apply these principles, we become stronger, wiser, and more prepared to face life's challenges. The journey is not easy, but the reward is an unshakable mind and a life filled with purpose. Stoic self-discipline is not a burden, nor a meaningless exercise in endurance. It doesn't exist just to help us tolerate life. It exists so we can live it fully, meaningfully, and in alignment with what truly matters. Each principle shared here is not an external imposition, but an invitation to freedom. The freedom not to be enslaved by fleeting desires, by the opinions of others, by paralyzing fears, or by the chaos of the world around us. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations to complain. He wrote them to remind himself of what truly matters. He understood that the discipline of the mind was the only fortress no one could ever take from him. And that same principle applies to each of us. The challenges we face today may be different from his, but the need for strength, clarity, and purpose remains exactly the same. Now, The choice is yours. Each day brings new opportunities to practice self-discipline, strengthen your resilience, and live in alignment with your highest principles. The question is, will you apply this knowledge, or simply observe it from a distance? If you're ready to keep exploring this philosophy and deepen your mastery over yourself, subscribe to the channel. Here, Stoicism is not just theory, it's a living practice applied to the real world. Every video is a step forward on this journey of growth, strength, and clarity. The path of discipline and virtue is continuous. Each day is a new chance to sharpen your mind, strengthen your character, and shape your life around what truly matters. Don't waste the opportunity. Start today with the small choices that will define your destiny. Because in the end, as the Stoics teach us, true greatness isn't about what we have. It's about who we choose to become.